of Childhood, and we've chosen this. It's a cowboy and Indian tin plate toy, and they're both on horseback, and it was used from 1970 to the 1980s.
Well, we've just been looking at this case behind me, and my favourite toy was the cowboy and Indian on horseback, because they can rear up on their end, they can lay down, and they can twist their tails, and I think that'd be quite interesting. He went down on the drums.
Yeah, he probably goes.
He got whacked down on the drums. That's what happens when...
I like the cowboy and the Indian on horseback because even though they may not have been, it gave the impression they were running, and it just seemed very interesting because you could play out your own stories because they were in a pair. So it almost was like they were fighting, and maybe you could have races between them, or pretend to anyway. It doesn't just say like if you're a boy you play with this, or if you're a girl you play with this. It's like you can play with whatever you want to. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Oh, that's scary.
That's it, maybe around a little bit more. And he doesn't set off until you actually sit him down. So as you sit him, he'll start bouncing. As soon as his legs touch, there you go. There he goes.
It would be an interesting toy for a child in the 1960s, and I think if I was that child that would interest me. And back then they didn't know different from toys like this. They didn't know that there are iPads and Xboxes coming out in the future, so if I was the child I'd definitely enjoy that.
How many do you think were sold?
Lots, probably thousands, because they were quite a popular subject matter. Lots of children loved playing cowboys and Indians at the time in Britain, but also for the clockwork manufacturers, the fact that they liked to make animals or things that moved, such as horses or cars or trains, because it's capturing that movement, and it's quite exciting at the time to capture movement in toys.
So what you see here is the person winding up the toy, and when you let go you see that the horse rears down and can rear up with his tail spinning quite rapidly, and the person moving his arms up and down. It shows you and it tells you how the machine works. So if you see click on X-ray, you can see what the inside of it looks like, so the hidden mechanisms, and then you can see the mechanisms when they move. So you can see that it coils up when you spin it. This is useful because in the box all you can see is the toy sitting there. Whereas if when you watch this, you can see the way that it reacts and the way it actually moves like it would with a child.
I think they're hand painted because I don't think any machine could have painted that much detail.
They're machine painted. As you said, they're exciting because they're colourful, aren't they? They're all really, really colourful in the display case. And that's, I think, a lot of the attraction to these toys. Before that, toys are just made out of wood or natural materials, and they're quite bland, mundane colours. And suddenly you have these bright, shiny objects that are in the toy shop. And I think any child would have been attracted to their bright shininess. It's lithographed tin plate toys is what they're called. And it's their manufacturing process of the tin and the colouring which made it possible to make these toys.
The things I've got at home, they've got like either on remote control batteries or something like that, but where these ones you have to wind them up for them to move or do anything.
When you compare the toys that they had years ago and compare them to now, the toys that we have now, we're a lucky generation, because the toys that we have now I think are much more easier and interactive